Ever since watching MGK get interviewed by Logan Paul, I thought, I want to hear more about his story and what exactly his recovery journey has been from addiction. So as a mental health professional, a therapist every day with clients dealing with addiction and a lot of life issues, trauma, past things that have brought them down, I wanted to see this because apparently he gives reasons why he has entered recovery in a new way and why he got help for what his addiction was. So without further ado, let's check it out. Machine Gun Kelly. I've got a couple of videos here I want to check out because I think they combine together good. I think they're both talking about different things. And I think they might involve his daughter too. So let's check this out.
I'm completely sober from everything. I don't drink anymore. I haven't drank since last August.
Machine Gun Kelly reveals that he's been sober for nearly 1 year after a brief stint in rehab.
That's what he said on Logan Paul.
MGK, whose real name is Colson Baker, is opening up about his sobriety journey during an episode of the Dumb Blonde podcast on August 5th.
So let's talk about mental health and sobriety. Where's your sobriety journey now?
I'm completely sober from everything. I don't drink anymore. I haven't drank since last August.
The 34-year-old reveals that following his 2023 European tour, he went to rehab without many outside his closest circle even knowing.
I get mad at sobriety.
Yeah, wasn't that like late last fall when he was just and then I think didn't he black? Is that when he blacked out all his tattoos or started doing that? Rehab, sobriety will do tremendous things to you. It will bring you to your knees and it will enlighten you at the same time. So if you allow it to work and you allow it to take part in your life, it's kind of like this. When you're addicted to something, whatever it is, it's got control over you. Don't say it doesn't. I mean, people who try to manage it and try to balance it will say, I've got this, I can handle this. But if you're really honest with yourself and you reach the point, right, like we say, where there is experimental using, then there is problem using, and then there is addictive using. Once you cross the line from a problem into addiction, you can't go back. Once you're a pickle, you can't be a cucumber. It says all over. It says it all the time in 12-step programs. You cannot go backwards once you're an addict. It's okay though. There is recovery. Starts with abstinence and just stopping, and then there's recovery, which is making your life better, developing new character, having a relationship with a higher power, and knowing that there's more purpose in this world than just using. But it will enlighten you into a whole new perspective in a world of possibility than you've ever seen. And it will also bring you to your knees, knowing that you can't ever use that same acting out again. So I'm curious what he'll say about that.
Outside his closest circle, even knowing.
I get mad at sobriety a lot. That is like I'm still in that phase of.
Makes sense.
I
Rebellion.
didn't
Denial.
tell anybody outside of the closest
Being
to me,
honest.
but I went to rehab right when we got off the European tour last year, and that was my first time I ever went to rehab. And man, they just gave me so many ways to operate the body and show.
Yeah, I'm curious what happened in rehab, if they did any EMDR with him, which is eye movement desensitization reprocessing, where you can kind of go back into the past with trauma, with real struggles that have happened in your life, with things that have just jarred you and been horrible in your life, and can kind of desensitize the brain to that so that you are not so triggered by sights, sounds, situations that you run into now that bring you back to the past. For instance, if you were abused when you were younger or yelled at horribly by one of your parents, whenever somebody treats you that way in the future, even if they don't abuse you, or even if they're not yelling at you in a abusive way in the future, but they're just correcting you or getting on your case for something you need to do, and it sounds like it was back then, it will bring you back as if you're that person again, you're that child again. That's all the past trauma stuff that can make people say, screw it, I want to use. I'm just going to go out and use again because I don't need this. If you can get some EMDR, if you can get some good treatment, like he's saying, they can open your eyes up to new tools, new ways to use bilateral stimulation, ways to use coping skills so that you don't have to go backwards when you get triggered again. You can go forwards. And when you go forwards, you're actually in control of your life. That's the beauty of it.
Gave me so many ways to operate the body and show where this anger is coming
Yeah.
from and methods to quell it. And I met with a lot of psychiatrists, some who gave up on me, and many therapists who did the same. But I ended up falling into an awareness of what my condition is and have made peace with it, and it's a constant tightrope walk.
Day at a time, day at a time. Not all therapists are great. Not all psychiatrists are great. Realize psychiatrists are medication-based, so they're going to be the ones that prescribe the medication. Therapists are the ones who do the day-to-day grassroots groundwork on counseling you, on helping you understand your patterns in day-to-day life, and on helping you understand coping skills to be able to use in the world, helping you make sense of the past and helping you have control of the future. They're the ones that are kind of the hand holders that can help you walk through that. They're not all great. That's why I do this, because I want you to hear that a lot of therapists can be great. A lot of us that are really well trained, that have a lot of knowledge, that have a lot of compassion, a lot of empathy, a lot of understanding for what you're going through. And to understand addiction is to understand that there is the addiction and there's the person. And if you just meld those two together and you're just always going to be that way, they're going to quit on you. And those aren't therapists you want to be with. You want to be with somebody who understands this addiction has a stronghold. And who you are as a person who doesn't want that addiction anymore, when you do want recovery, it's a constant pull to try to get that person away from that addiction, and for him to be able to understand, I can go back any day. Remember I said that every day you stop using is a day you're more likely to use again, until it reaches a crescendo, a point where your recovery is strong enough, your mental health is strong enough, that you're actually less likely to use day by day. But that can take weeks, months, or years sometimes for people.
And it's a constant
Why therapy is so
tightrope walk.
valuable, because it's ongoing.
While further discussing his sobriety, MGK admits that Megan Fox, who he's been dating since 2020 and popped the question to in 2022, has helped him throughout the journey.
Has Megan been a catalyst in your sobriety?
I think all my friends, I think everyone's just really, absolutely. Megan's for sure been extremely helpful in dealing with the kind of psychological withdrawals that come with
Getting off drugs.
Yeah.
MGK goes on to share his hopes for the future now that he's openly sharing this aspect of his life.
I continue to, embrace that this journey is going to be hard for me, but I accept it and forgive myself. I really don't know. I'm also really hard on myself, very self-deprecating. So I guess, I'm just happy that I'm able to start to be comfortable enough to show people who I am, because I kind of depended on my art to do that.
That's one of those important things that, it's one of those important things you have to understand in sobriety and recovery, is that you can be your own worst enemy sometimes. So self-deprecating, so hard on yourself. And one of the things you learn in recovery is to not be so hard on yourself. Hold yourself accountable, but try not to beat yourself up so much. I tell people all the time, don't dwell in the past, reflect on the past. Understand the past, look at it, see what's there, what happened. Try really hard, though, not to dwell in the past, not to bathe in the misery and the darkness of what's happened in the past. That's why therapy is so valuable, y'all. When you sit with somebody who can understand the patterns of your behavior, understand what you've been through in the past, and put it in its perspective, which means because that happened to you in the past does not mean you're doomed to have it happen again. Just because you had those relationships in the past doesn't mean they're going to happen in the future. So let's talk about the relationships you do want and how you could be the best person for that relationship. So much more is here. All the mental health. Let's move on to video 2 now. So this is talking about how Machine Gun Kelly's daughter, Casey, made him sober. I got to hear about this.
Well, it started with my daughter saying, "Dad, I can tell when you're high."
Damn.
Machine Gun Kelly is getting candid about his sobriety journey. In an August 18th episode of Barstool Sports' $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, the rapper shared how his 15-year-old daughter Cassie played a major role.
That's so sweet. I wonder if that C on his cap was for Cassie. That's so sweet, because your children know way more than you think they do. Your loved ones know way more than you think they do. But there's nothing like a child, right, to cut to your soul when you're in a bad spot and they're like, I know, You can't hide it anymore. I've had so many clients who've talked about their parents' drug addiction, alcoholism, where the parents will talk to me and they think they keep it really well hidden, and they don't, and the children know about it. And to have a daughter that's strong enough to say, Dad, I love you enough to say this to you, because it's hard for children to say, I notice you're using. What a powerful statement, and what a cut to the core, right, of your soul as a dad, to say, that's the one person I don't want to let down in my life is my child. And she loves me. And hopefully you can hear it to where she loves me enough that she doesn't want me to go down this path.
Worth of Game podcast. The rapper shared how his 15-year-old daughter, Cassie, played a major role in his decision to get sober when she was around 11 or 12 years old.
11 or 12.
What made you feel different to be like, I'm gonna back up off it. I'm gonna, go through whatever processes I gotta go through to get off of what I'm on. And I don't need that shit to still be MGK.
Well, it started with my daughter saying, Dad, I can tell when you're high.
Damn.
It broke my heart. It was like the ultimate letdown.
How old was she at the time?
Shame.
11, 12.
Ooh.
Shame.
She's 15 now.
The singer explained that the conversation was the
sweet.
first step, as he admitted that it still took him a while to get sober.
It took me a while afterwards because obviously, drugs have a vice grip on you.
Absolutely.
So that
And remember this, it takes the decision to do it. You have to be able to ask for help. You have to be able to accept the help. You have to be able to make a decision. People can't do that for you. And secondly, you have to be able to understand that who you're with and what you do day to day matters. I will tell this to you till the end of time. Who you're with and who you surround yourself with, whether they're going to enable your addiction to continue or whether they're going to stand up and say, I love you and I care about you and I will be with you as long as you are working to make your life the best it can be and not be enabling addiction. And what you do day to day, your routine, where you go, the situations you put yourself in, knowing ahead of time what you're going to do when you get there, that all matters. And until you do it, you're going to keep using over and over. And it's okay, you do what you got to do. But if you want to get sober, you're going to have to make a clear decision that you want to stop. Not that you have the power to, but that you want to stop. Secondly, that you are going to change the people that you are around to only the ones that are supporting your sobriety. And third, that you're going to look at what you do day to day and the decisions that you make with where you go, who you're with, what you do, and be prepared ahead of time for anything that might come.
Was step one for me, right? Okay, as a father and as a man, like to be the father I wish my dad would have been, I have to break this generational curse for my kid.
There you go.
And then second off, I think I just became a real unpleasant person to be around for all my friends, right? Like I was an only child, so the family I had was these guys, and I think like when I began to like run away or run people away from me because man, you become flippant, bro. Like when the drugs got you, it's like if you aren't that person, you're an until you go meet up with those demons, and then those demons make you calm back down. But that's a demon in and of itself that you can't even be awake or alive, bro. Like until you're that.
MGK also shared that at only 11 years old, he had tried ecstasy.
My dreams stretched at different times, right? Like at first I wanted to be, I had so many, bro. Like when I watched Top Gun, I was like, I want to be an Air Force pilot.
Okay.
And then they're like,
A lot of impulsivity, probably a lot of ADHD, which is part of his brilliance. You're not going to see somebody like him, brilliant at being able to rap like he does without having some kind of impulse issue. So he watches Top Gun, it's like, boom, that's what I want to do. I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, which is great. It's great for the creativity. The hard part is settling the brain, settling down, relaxing, take some meditation, take some good coping skills. I've said before, EMDR, to be able to desensitize the brain, settle the nervous system down so that you can be calm and think ahead rather than thinking so drastically in the moment. And again, don't dwell on the past. You want to reflect on the past so he doesn't get caught up in things in a loop.
I'm like 11 years old at the time. And they're telling me like, okay, well, you can never do drugs because they'll test your hair and they'll be able to see if you had drugs. Then I took ecstasy at 11 years old. And And I was like, all right, that dream's out the door.
11?
Yeah.
On the E?
Yeah, my friend's older sister dated a rave DJ at the time, and so the rave DJ was like, this will be funny, and so he gave us, some extra whatever. And so
how'd that night end up, man?
They gave us pacifiers because they said your teeth grind crazy, so it was just like me and 3 of my friends just walking around like with pacifiers in our mouth looking stupid as hell, but like, it was probably awesome, dude. Yeah, for sure. And so from then...
It's so sad. When you see stories like this, you realize it's nothing he'd ever want his daughter to experience, right? Ever. Keep her from all of that, because at that point, your life forever changes. Your outlook on life changes, and your view with what's possible changes. And he's laughing about it because it sounds funny that this happened to children, but he didn't make that choice. Like at that age, your brain's not developed enough to know what you're doing. You think you're cool doing stuff like that. And then you experience something that starts a brand new cycle and a pattern of using. Again, generational cycle that he's trying to stop.
I was like, all right, well, I can't be an Air Force pilot.
The rapper had previously revealed on Bunny XO's Dumb Blonde podcast earlier this month that he hasn't drank since last August, and also shared that he went to rehab for the first time ever.
Let's talk about mental health and sobriety. Where's your sobriety journey now?
Oh, I'm completely sober from everything. I don't drink anymore. I haven't drank since last August.
Because I know when I got sober in 2017, sobriety sucks. It was the hardest journey that I went on, because then I had to get to know myself, and that was the real battle. I had to get to know myself without something in my system.
That was really, I get mad.
It makes you look at yourself in a sober way. It's almost like taking your clothes off, looking in the mirror and saying, how do you like yourself? Nobody ever looks at themselves in a mirror for very long anyway. If you just stare at yourself in the mirror, we don't tend to do that. Then we get self-critical. And that's what she's saying is, I had to look at myself sober, and there's not a lot that you're going to like about yourself. So that's why we get high, right? And that's why we pretend and go into this alternate universe, only to realize we're right back here again and need to use all over again. Once you can learn to love yourself for who you are, all the flaws that you have, in yourself and in who you are and what you've been through, and accept who you are, that's when you can actually start to really recover.
Mad at sobriety a lot. That is like I'm still in that phase of
Rebelling.
Yeah. I didn't tell anybody outside of, the closest to me, but I went to rehab right when we got off the European tour last year. And that was my first time I ever went to rehab. Man, they just gave me so many ways to operate the body and show where this like anger is coming from, and methods to quell it. And I met with a lot of psychiatrists, some who gave up on me, and many therapists who did the same. Ended up falling into an awareness of what my condition is, and have made peace with it. And it's a constant
I'd love to have a chance to work with him, because he just seems so willing at this point to work on recovery, to work on healing, to work on mental health, to work on sobriety, and just learn and grow. And when people are in that place, man, you can really catapult yourself into a really healthy place. It doesn't mean the demons don't come back. It doesn't mean you don't recycle some things. You don't get triggered by things. Things like that happen. But it does mean you can grow your sobriety astronomically when you're ready to. Just because you have 6 months of sobriety doesn't mean it's 6 months for the same as everybody. You can have 6 years worth of sobriety in 6 months if you work the program hard enough.
tightrope walk.
Has Megan been a catalyst in your sobriety?
I think all my friends, I think everyone's just really, absolutely. Megan's for sure been extremely helpful in dealing with the kind of psychological withdrawals that come with
getting off drugs.
Yeah. I've just been really happy seeing everybody. I love that I'm clear when I look at, the person I love.
Sometimes you spend so many years being miserable using and in addiction that you don't think you can be happy. And sometimes when you look at him interviewed like this, it's almost like he doesn't think he can be happy. In other words, smile. It's okay. Life's good. I did see that one interview where he did smile. You look good, man, Logan Paul. And he smiled. Own yourself. It's okay to be proud of yourself. In spite of everything that's happened in the past, it's okay to be proud of yourself and what you've done in this past year, because you deserve that. And that's what I want for him, is more happiness.
Really happy that when my daughter and I are having our conversations, and I'm coming from a place of being centered and holding space for what a child needs from their parent. I give a lot of props everyone around me for never quitting before I got to this point, because I really hope I'm a lot more of like a pleasure to be around.
More present.
MGK recently celebrated his daughter Cassie's 15th birthday, posting a tribute to her on Instagram, writing, "The world spins, but when I look at you, it stops. Happy 15th, princess."
That's so cool. We can't look at addiction enough because it's in our world. It's all over the place. Whether it's you or somebody who is a loved one of yours, everybody is touched by addiction in some way, shape, or form. And it's important for us to pay attention to it. As a mental health person, I can only see one person at a time in my office. That's why I want to talk about this online like this, to give people the opportunity to know that help is out there. Mental health matters, that getting therapy matters, that you putting a priority on yourself or your loved ones, not enabling addiction, and being able to take a leap of faith and take a chance at being put in a new life, because addiction will tear you down and it will take everyone from you. Recovery gives you an opportunity, yes, to get rid of something that is your best friend, but to hold on to people and things and places that can be so much better for you in life and create so much more happiness and contentment inside your soul. So give it a shot. Please leave your comments. Let me know what you think about this. And remember, mental health matters. If you got another video that you want to send me the link to, do it, because this is a huge topic. We'll see you on the next Reaction Therapy.